Welcome to day 3 of Leap 21. I want to really trust that these first 2 days have been phenomenal in shaping your mind and getting you ready for that which the Lord has for us. Now, the basis of this teaching is Genesis chapter 26 and verse 22, the B portion. The Bible says, he called the name of it Rehoboth, and he said, "For now the Lord hath made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land." God has made room for us. I didn't make room for myself. God has made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land, which means God making room for you precedes you being fruitful in the land. It as well means you cannot be fruitful in the land, irrespective of your giftings and your graces and your talents, until God makes room for you. And guess what? According to the prophetic word that we have for this season, He has made room for us. And you know why it's called Leap 21? Because when you know God has made room for you, it's time to leap. It's not time to walk. It's not time to run. It's time to leap. And the reason is very simple. Seasons don't last forever. The good news is this, is that we have 2026 to enjoy this. God has made room for us, all right? And it's time for you to be fruitful. Now, but there's something I want to point out right in the Genesis 26 story. The Bible tells us that Isaac dug a well and he found springing water. And you know how water was such a precious commodity at the time. And then they strove with him. They collected it back. He dug another one. They strove with him and then they collected it back. I want you to observe that it was the exact same thing he was doing till the season changed. Now, here's where a lot of believers make the mistake more often than not. When we are set on what I believe that God has, what you know God has asked you to do, where you should be, because you're not seeing the required result many times, people begin to second guess themselves. And many times they even give up on those things. All right. And so you can imagine that Isaac had dug the first well, the second well, and then he then gets frustrated because in verse 2, I believe, verse 1 and verse 2 particularly of the same Genesis 26, God had said to him, stay in the land. So now God says, stay in the land. I'm digging wells in the land. I'm finding water, but then they are collecting it from me. I'm being dispossessed of what is mine. And so you can imagine the frustration. Sometimes, I don't know if it's happened to you, where you begin to question, did I really hear God to stay in the land? Maybe I should go back and ask again. And what I've found out is this: once you go back and ask again, you start hearing yourself. So here's what I want to let you to know. I want you to know. Listen, this is not taking away the responsibility for growth and self-development, adjustments that needs to happen along the way. But more often than not, you already know what you need to do. You're already in the place that you should be. You're already doing what you need to be doing. All right? More often than not, you're already digging wells like you should be digging wells. And because the season was not favorable, you were not getting the kind of results that you were meant to get. And so you begin to wonder, well, should I do something different? Should I go in a different direction? Do I ditch this and look for something else? And that's what happened with Peter. You know, Peter had a well, water was coming out, and then Jesus was crucified, and then he died. And then Peter looked at it and he goes, well, I don't know, this seems to have been taken from me. And then he looks at his friends, he says, I go out fishing. And then guess what Jesus did when he rose from the dead? He came back and restored Peter to the exact same thing that he was doing before. I don't know if this is a word of consolation or comfort to somebody. I don't think that you have to do many new things. I'm not even sure that what God is asking you to do, all right, is new things in that sense. Oh yes, he would ask you to pioneer things, lead you, in territories and tracks that you've never walked before. But at the basic level, I'm saying to you that you're already doing what you should be doing. And the reason why it seemed as though it wasn't working yesterday was simply because the season was not right. But God has changed the season. And as I prepared for these teaching sessions, I heard the Lord say to tell you, dig again, which means the same wells that you dug yesterday and 2 days ago that produced water but you were dispossessed of is the exact same well that you will dig. Now, here is what you need to do. All right. What happens to many people more often than not is after digging and they don't seem to get the kind of result, even though they are digging, they're not digging with the same passion, with the same enthusiasm, with the same excitement. I want you to go back to your instructions, go back to your notes. What are those things that God showed you? What are the things that God said to you? Go find that initial joy, that initial momentum, that initial excitement, the way you stepped out and you said, my goodness, we're going to preach, we're going to fill stadiums, we're going to sing, presidents and governors will be listening to us, I'm going to build a real estate company. That joy that you had at the beginning, go find it again. You know why I'm saying you should do that? Because the seasons have changed. Go back and dig again. The very same thing you did that you failed, the very same thing you did that was collected from you, the very same thing you did and it looked as though the blinds were closed and you didn't have any form of productivity or result. Go back to the very same thing, and I'm saying to you, dig again. Stop second guessing yourself because of yesterday's failures. Stop doubting yourself because of yesterday's mishaps. Stop wondering, am I enough? Am I adequate? Am I capable? Listen to me. Your well digging capacity is good enough. Water is coming from your well. What needed to be changed has now changed. The season has changed. Get back and dig new wells. My name is Ayo Ajani, and I'll see you same time tomorrow.